He is the UFC's bantamweight champion, Sugar Sean O'Malley, and first time I get to speak with you as the champion. I'd love to hear how you felt the next morning, the next day after you've accomplished one of your goals, not the biggest goal, but one of your goals along the way. How does it feel?
It feels good. It's a weird fighting on the East Coast is weird because technically I fought Sunday, so like you weigh in Friday and then all day Saturday you just wait. You do absolutely pretty much nothing, and then you fight Sunday morning. I fought at like 12:30 in the morning, so technically Monday morning was the first morning, but it was good. I didn't get much sleep Sunday. Pretty much was up till like 6 a.m. rewatching myself punch Aljo over and over again. It was fun. I made sure to go and watch all the videos with everyone doubting me, just because gave me a couple good laughs, and that was the highlight of the week, just rewatching all the videos of people saying I had no chance.
Well, you wouldn't have found a video of me saying it. I'll tell you that much. Myself and Robin Black, we do a piece for TSN where we talk about the main event, and both of us were in agreement. I mean, the value was certainly on you. You were the underdog, and I don't think a lot of people had the kind of faith in you that you had in yourself, and that a lot of people, I think, have over time, and we've seen this with Conor McGregor and a lot of athletes that are a little bit more outspoken about how they want to achieve big things in their career. People tend to underestimate them and kind of underrate their work because they I guess become fascinated with the idea of people having a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it. Also, I was fighting Aljamain Sterling, the greatest bantamweight of all time. So I definitely don't, I'm not mad at people that didn't pick me. I get it. There was nothing, you know, it was just fun for people to doubt and for me to go out there and win the way I did. But yeah, definitely don't hold any hate towards the people that wanted to. All right, there's a difference between people that wanted to see me lose and the people that just thought I was going to lose because it was a bad matchup. You can tell in people's answers when they get asked about the fight, which one they are.
Now, when you say that Aljamain Sterling is the best bantamweight of all time, do you believe that? Did you believe that going into this fight as well?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look at his last five, six, seven. I mean, he's on a 9-fight win streak, defended the belt more than anybody. Um, so yeah, he was the former greatest bantamweight of all time.
It looks like the stars are aligning for a rematch between yourself and Chito Vera. Now, I think that this
Sure
has to, do,
does.
yeah, this has to do with the fact that he is on your record the only loss that you have. Not to mention that a lot of the top contenders right now are injured. But if you were to take all of that away, take away the narrative, Chito's ranked, I believe, fifth or sixth. Who do you think has the best resume in terms of the contenders? Like, if you were to just say this is the most worthy person, regardless of circumstances, I know Sandhagen's injured, throw all that away. Who is the you believe to be the most worthy contender?
Probably Corey.
Why would you go with Cory over like Merab and Aljo, for example? I mean, I know you just beat Aljo, and I don't think that you want that rematch, but why Cory?
Yeah, Marab is up there too. I literally forget about that dude sometimes. Yeah, Marab's up there too. Marab's got a very similar style to Aljo, to where it's gonna, same game plan, try to take me down, get knocked out in the second. So I basically already won that fight in my head. So I forgot to, yeah. Corey's interesting because it's just a completely different matchup. Well, I guess that dude's a wrestler now too.
Now, I'm going to use some process of elimination here. The UFC just put out an email today announcing that tickets for the MSG show are on sale. It's prominently featuring John Jones and Stipe Miocic. Now, I feel like they're probably not going to put tickets on sale if they have a fight between you and someone else in their back pocket. Because if they want to sell tickets and at a high price, probably want to promote that the Sugar Show is on that card. So is it safe to say that December is where we're looking to have your next fight?
I would say it's safe to say it's not November.
December, there is no main event announced. Usually, the end of the year, they like to have a big headlining event, and I mean, I think that of course you would fit into that category. So, are you hoping to fight by the end of the year?
Um, yeah, I mean, if I could pick 100%, it just depends. I'm getting an MRI on my hand, this side of my hand, from bouncing it off Alger's head, boom, hammer fisting him. Um, has been really sore last 2 weeks. I still haven't been able to grapple. I'm still kind of hoping I can grapple here soon with this little muscle strain rib injury that I've been dealing with. So it's hard to say, with if I had zero injuries and I was 100% able to train right now, yes, December would be it. But I don't really have an answer for a few weeks until I kind of, heal up and you know, Dana said he has a big announcement in a few weeks, so we'll see what he says.
You kind of talked about the implications going into the fight against Aljo and that rib injury that you just mentioned, about how it really was for you life and death to stuff takedowns. So is that really what the key was for you? Was putting so much emphasis on the urgency of making sure that this does not go to the grounds by any means necessary?
Yeah, 100%. Every round I didn't hit the mat was a win for me. Whether it was a win on the scorecards and the judges' eyes and the fans' eyes, if it was boring to some people, it was a win in my book because I knew the longer it was on the feet, the more chance I had of knocking them out. And I said leading up to that fight, if I didn't have this injury, I probably would have still said, obviously, my game plans don't hit the ground. But knowing I was dealing with this, it was for sure, it was, I couldn't even grapple. I couldn't even, like, have people shoot on me lightly 3 weeks out from the fight. I had to stop and go, no, 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 we can't do that. So for me, yeah, it was life or death. Him taking me down, whether he was able to get my back and choke me or not, it wasn't even about that. It was like whether I could even grapple, even I could defend myself. So for me, my mindset was, yeah, it was life or death. Don't let him grab me.
It's funny. I hear people talk about your championship run now, and they're like, "Well, we need to match Sean up with this guy, and build him up." The funny thing about this is, at 28 years old, you're not even one of the youngest bantamweight champions ever. Like Piotr Jan was younger when he won the belt, and everybody had all this confidence in him. And TJ was around the same age as you. Cody Garbrandt was younger. Do you feel like they're still kind of handling you with kid gloves a little bit? I mean, right now you're 28, and that's the same. That's on par for a lot of the other great champions that we've seen in this division.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even. I mean, just what's next is whatever the biggest fight is. That's just usually how the UFC works. What's next? The biggest fight. If the biggest fight was Merab, they would make Merab. If the biggest fight was Cory, they'd make Cory. I think the biggest fight's Chito. I don't run the UFC. I don't pick my fight, so we'll see what they say. That's what I've been pushing for. That's what I called out after the fight. That's what I've wanted. We'll see what happens.
What do you think is the biggest UFC fight that they can make for you down the line? Let's say you continue to defend the title, everything's hunky dory. If you could look down the road and say the biggest prospective opponent for me is blank, who is that?
Gervonta Davis.
I did say UFC.
I know. Yeah, you're right. You're right. UFC right now. I mean, it is Chito. Chito is the biggest fight. There's really no superstars other than myself around 35 or 40, even really 45. I don't. I've definitely haven't been pushing for the Volk fight. Maybe in a couple years if he's still at 45 and still running that. I think Volk's gonna probably move up to 55 before too long. I think Max Holloway will probably move up to 55 before too long. So guys that are like 35, 45, biggest fights. I mean, right now it's me versus Cheeto. In the future, who knows? Maybe someone will come up, rise up. But I do think me versus Umar is a big fight if he could even get to a fight. And I don't think it's a good big fight because he's a big name. I think it's literally just because he has that last name. The Russian versus Irish rematch, Conor versus Khabib. I think that's a big fight down the line if he could string together a couple wins.
Yeah, I mean, Umar, how many wins away do you think he is? You think if he gets a win over a guy like an Aljo or Merab or something along those lines, that would be, I guess, one of your next challenges?
It depends if he can, he goes out there and wins in spectacular fashion. The fans just gravitate towards him. If that's not the case, he goes out there, wins a decision, maybe one more fight over another top guy, and he could get there. I mean, yeah, people would love to see that just because the Conor versus Khabib, like O'Malley versus Nurmagomedov. That's a lot. Umar, yeah, Nurmagomedov. But yeah, it's like the dude. No one really knows of him right now. In like the United States fan base. It's not, I'm not taking shots. I'm not trying to, be funny or anything. He's just not a popular guy yet. He has the potential 100%. He has the skills 100%. He just needs to get in the cage and start some highlights.
And which contender do you think would be the most fun matchup for you? Like if you were to say, I would really enjoy being in the cage with this person, who's that?
again, Chito. I want that. I want that fight. That's the one I want. That's the one that's going to be the most fun. He's slow. I'm fast. I'm Mexican. He's Ecuadorian. It's just a beautiful fight.
When you say it's fun, you just think it's going to be fun for you to toy with him? I mean, that's what it sounds like. Is you want to kind of run circles around the guy?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I want to toy with him. He's not. He doesn't suck by any means. He's good. Um, he's durable. He's very tough. It would be a very interesting fight, and it would, that first fight, the way it played out, I was feeling he was slow. I was feeling it. I was feeling good. So I think that's a fun fight for me.
Personally, I think the Sandhagen fight would be a lot of fun. You guys are about the same height, both very dynamic strikers, interesting ground games. You guys are creative. I think that's really what makes mixed martial arts so beautiful sometimes, is to see kind of two creative minds try to outduel each other in that facet.
100%. That is definitely, I don't want to say a massive fight or a big fight because he's so bad. It's like he's trying to make people not really be interested in him. It's honestly kind of cool to watch how bad he is at promoting fights and stuff.
But as a fighter, I mean, I know the last one was obviously a stinker. I think he would admit that too. But I think he's been a fun fighter historically. I'm hoping people don't forget that.
I'm not saying fighting wise. I mean, yeah, the last fight, but before that, fighting wise, super entertaining, fun. But just like him on the mic and he's just boring. He's just a boring person for entertainment purposes. Not maybe in real life, sit down, have a coffee with him. He's not going to bore you, but you're not going to tune in for his interview. You're not going to tune in for his press conference. No one cares.
So give Cory Sandhagen a tip. How can he make himself more exciting outside of the cage?
A couple face tats.
All right. Next time
sure.
I talk to Cory, I'll let him know that's
know.
the missing ingredient is a couple face tats.
Yeah, let him know.
Sean, thank you for doing this. Really appreciate you. Looking forward to whatever's next for you.
Thank you, bro. Peace.